Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. The best time of the year. College football is here. It is Austin, joined by Logan. We are both amped up for some college football. We have week 0 on the way. We're going to dive into a bunch of different games, and we'll have them timestamped down below. But first and foremost, Logan, how are you doing? I know you've been pre-gaming for this with a lot of college football 25, so you got to be locked in. But how are things, man?
Yeah, I mean, college football season is such a fun time. It marks the start of football season, the transition away from the dog days of summer that was baseball. I know you and I are exhausted from baseball season. So just even looking at these, college football lines and some of these games has me so excited. I love football. I mean, that was always my sport growing up. I played football. This is a sport I know, and to be able to bet on it, there's nothing better than it, honestly.
Yeah, I 100% agree. We're excited. It obviously is week 0, so take it with a grain of salt. Only we're going to talk about 4 games. I believe there are some other FCS matchups that look we're not going to know what the heck's happening at McNeese State and stuff like that. But we got 4 games. Like I said, they're all going to be timestamped down below. I feel like this is kind of the format we're going to go for. We're going to talk about probably when there's a bigger slate, probably 10, 15 games on the slate. Not dive into like the nitty gritty, but things that we really do like and maybe the picks that we're rolling with. And you know what? I feel like we should just hop right into the first game. We're heading out to Dublin, Ireland, where we're going to see, I believe, College Game Days going out there. We have the Florida State Seminoles, 10th ranked team, taking on Georgia Tech. Now, technically, Georgia Tech is the home team, if you will. But like I said, this is out in Dublin, Ireland. Florida State, 10.5-point favorites, over under 55.5. Logan, is there anything you're looking at here in the first college football game of the season? It feels like we got to have a pick on it. What are you rolling with here?
Yeah, so basically the way I want this to work is Austin and I can tell you guys if we're putting our own money on something, and if it is a pick we're confident in to put our own money on it, that's what I'm going to relay to you. And guys, I have a pick in this one. It's going to be the over 55.5. Now you might say, wow, that's kind of a high total for a week 0 game of like no offense, maybe some rusty offense. I hear you, but look at the line movement in this one, and that's kind of what really caught my eye. The line opened at 51.5. It's up. The total's up to 55.5. So obviously something's shifting that line that way. The last 5 ACC games that Georgia Tech played last year all went over. This is a team that is not afraid to just kind of put defense off to the side and just get in a track meet with you. And I think that's what we're going to see here. And also on Oregon State, or DJU is what I'm going to call him. I'm not going to pronounce his last name. But obviously we know he's the new transfer quarterback at Florida State from Oregon State. Last year at Oregon State, he performed a lot better than I did. I tried to fade him a few times. I was just dead wrong on that. At quarterback last year, leading that offense, Oregon State was 78.5% touchdown percentage in the red zone. That was number 1 in the country. This was one of the best offenses led by him last year. Now he's in a new change of scenery. Do we think some of that carries over? I say yes. Red zone efficiency is huge for an over. I think Florida State puts up their fair share of points. Georgia Tech returns a lot of players from last year, especially on offense, obviously having some continuity there at the quarterback position with Haynes King. That will be big. Over 3,400 yards total last year, 35 touchdowns. And they also have returning a key rusher, Jamal Hayes. There's a lot of offensive weapons returning for Georgia Tech. And like I said, I don't think they're scared to kind of turn this into a track meet. Georgia Tech had the 4th best scoring offense in the ACC last year. And with all those key pieces back, Austin, I think the signs are kind of pointing to an over in this one. That's where my money is for this one.
Yeah, it's a game I looked at. I went back and forth, over or under. I'm not sure where everyone's going to be on this one. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of action because it's the first game. I like the over pick. If I had to gun to my head, I'll have some action because it's the first game of the season. I'm not saying it's a 10U play. I'd lean to Florida State. I lean them minus 10.5. That would be what I would bet here. I think a lot of people will want to take Georgia Tech, try to get those points and be a little bit cute. We've seen some blowouts in these Ireland games before, notably last year. Red zone scoring percentage, Logan already talked about that. Obviously, that's great. That's important to cover, a 10.5 line. You need to be able to convert in the red zone. DJU did that. And we talked about the line. While the over-under opened at 51.5, this line opened at 13.5. So you're getting a little bit of a discount. And like Logan touched on, Haynes King was really good last year, but he failed to note 16 interceptions. Hey, if he's going to turn over the ball, give Florida State some short fields, that helps not only the over, but also I think it helps Florida State to cover this line. Not sure I'll put a lot of money on it, but I lean the Seminoles. Also, my sister went there, and last year she was watching the vids, and I bet against the Noles so many times that I got too many texts. So I can't bet against them first game of the year. Yeah, I know Logan might not be betting the Noles, but I'll be on the Florida State if I had to bet that one. But let's move on to the second game. I feel like that's the biggest game on the slate. 3 more games we're going to dive into. The second one, we're going to have New Mexico No, we got New Mexico hosting Montana State. Over under 54.5. The total, I believe Montana State about 13.5 point favorites. Look, here we have an FCS, Montana State going against the FBS team. I'm not going to keep it short and simple. I like Montana State, the Bobcats, to get it done here. Or not to get it done. I think they win this game, but I think they put up a lot of points, which is why I'm actually taking the over, 54.5. Look, when you see an FCS team, and correct me if I'm wrong, Logan, when the heck do we see FCS teams favored by 2 touchdowns on the road to an FBS team? Never happens. So I feel like that's a lot of respect from the books in terms of, hey, we think their offense is really good. On the flip side, I think they'll be able to put up points. I think they're going to be able to give up some points to New Mexico as well. I like the over 54.5. I'm not going to get too cute. It's the first game of the season, but I feel like them putting them as big favorites means their offense hopefully shows up, and hopefully they can keep scoring, and maybe that's how they cover, and hopefully they can go over this 54.5 number. But Logan, was there anything you took a peek at in that game?
Yeah, I have no action on this game personally, so I'm not gonna pretend to sell you guys on that. If I were to lean aside, it would probably be Montana State, just simply line reading. I mean, as you mentioned, Austin, that's a crazy line to see an FCS team favored like that. Is that more of good Montana State or bad New Mexico? I can't really figure it out. I do see your angle though with some points, because Montana State had really good production last year in the FCS. New Mexico State also put up some points themselves. So if I looked at that one, I could see game flow indicating the over, but no play for me in that one.
Yeah, I can't necessarily blame you. It's Montana State, New Mexico, week 0. I mean, we got to pump the brakes a little bit. I mean, sure, we want to bet the board, but we got a lot of games going on the rest of the season. And let's move to another one. SMU versus Nevada. SMU was a big surprise last year. The Mustangs were really good. I think they finished 11-3. Logan, I heard you had a pick on this game, and I don't know if people are going to love this one, but it's the team total. First one of the year. Which team you taking?
Yeah, so when you're betting college football, you can bet point spreads, you can bet full game over unders, but you also have the market of team totals, and I don't mind it, because whatever SMU does on offense, I don't really care about. What I really am targeting is SMU's defense. I think they hold Nevada in check. I'm taking Nevada's team total under 14.5. I really like that pick. I have no faith at all in Nevada's offense. Nevada 130th last year in touchdown percentage in the red zone. That's just awful. I mean, there's not many teams behind them in that. Brendan Lewis is, I read he's going to be the starting quarterback for Nevada. No faith in him at all. I didn't like what I saw from him last year. Yes, is 14.5 a low point team total? Yes, it is. Obviously, they only need to score over 2 touchdowns to get this. But 14 is a key number in football, guys. I mean, it is what it is. And SMU's defense is elite. If you don't know, I'll let you know. SMU's defense, 11th best in points allowed last year, 6th best in yards per play allowed. The Wolfpack offense just struggled last year. They only averaged 17 points per game against Mountain West competition, and now they're facing an elite defense with no preparation at all. Like this is week 0, so they don't have the time to really get the offense in check. And the pass rush, I think, will just absolutely be relentless for SMU. 10 out of their top 11 tacklers are returning. Nevada's offensive line they're piecing that together. I think a lot of signs are pointing to SMU's defense rising up to the occasion. I mean, they're sizable favorites for a reason. Could it be that their offense runs and hides from this one? Sure, but I also think their defense is going to keep Nevada absolutely, on just punt alert, and I think Nevada team totals to play in that one.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. SMU's defense was elite last year. I think if I were to bet in this one, I didn't mention the totals. You have over under 55.5 in SMU, 24.5 point favorites. You can bet the money line if you want to at minus 4,000. Yeah, probably don't do that. But SMU obviously really good. Preston Stone coming back here. I kind of lean the Mustangs minus the 24.5. The only thing that gives me pause is last year, first game of the season against another inferior opponent, they won 38-14. So obviously Logan's team total cash on the hook, a little sweaty. Right? It would still cash. The 24.5 would lose on the hook though. So I'm not sure it's my most confident, pick of the weekend or pick that I'll ever have. But Stone was really good last year. Logan kind of touched on him a little bit, but they're more so back in their defense. But it was helpful on the defensive side with Stone putting up so many points on the other side. You kind of just pinned your tail back and you just rushed the QB. There wasn't a lot of rush defense in there. So I like SMU. Should have another big season for the Mustangs. If I had to bet it, it'd be minus 24.5. But finally, what everyone's been waiting for. No one cared about Georgia Tech, Florida State. No one cared about Nevada. No one cared about SMU. They came here for the final game of the slate. a little midnight action. Delaware State versus Hawaii. The Hornets versus the Rainbow Dragons. Right now, Hawaii is a massive 39.5 point favorites. 56.5 is the total. Like I said, it's a midnight start in Hawaii, so technically on Sunday. The Hornets, they made news recently this week. They missed their flight to Honolulu, so that's not ideal. Logan, are you taking? You buying some points here, or who are you backing in this highly contested matchup?
Yeah, number one, I hear you on the travel delay. That is catching a lot of news. Doesn't factor actually that much into my analysis. Number two, you said Hawaii Rainbow Dragons, I think. No, they're the Rainbow Warriors. So let's put some
Rainbow
respect.
Warriors, yeah.
Yeah, let's put some respect on Hawaii's
first
name.
game. Give me a break, man. First games.
I understand. We're shaking out the rust. I get it. But my side in this one, guys, it's nasty. Plug your nose. I'm taking Hawaii and I'm laying all the points, minus 39.5. Yeah, I'm putting my own money on this one. It is an absolutely ridiculous line. It sticks out like a sore thumb. I'll be honest with you. The line opened at 27.5. So like, sit back in your chair. I mean, it's not for the faint of heart to ask Hawaii to cover a massive 40-point spread. But this is really, really a bet against Delaware State. I need to just let you guys know how bad this team is. Their program's last winning season came in 2012. I mean, gosh, Austin and I were in high school back then. This program is 1-13 all time against FBS opponents. So I mean, they have not been able to play up to their competition. And then you look at who's really driving this offense for Hawaii. I like him. I like Braden Shager starting at quarterback for Hawaii. If you don't know the name, I stumbled upon it. You will know the name. He will be one of those guys talked about as like one of the more elite quarterbacks in the FBS this year. He led the Mountain West in passing yards last year, touchdown passes. He ranked number 2 in total offense last year. So Hawaii quietly has a really potent offense. I think they're just going to absolutely go up and down the field. This, guys, has 56-3, 56-7-ish written all over it. And in that case, you might say, wow, we're laying a massive point total or point spread with Hawaii. But, guys, that's the play. Yes, the travel delay could factor in a little bit to Delaware State. I don't really buy into that. I just think if you're looking player for player, Hawaii just will be able to wipe the floor with Delaware State.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about their team totals. Delaware State's in at 2.5. A little juice on the over first half. That's not great if you want to back the Hornets. I wanted to back them because I think their logo's dope, but I don't know if I can get there on a logo bet in week 0. I don't think I can get there. After already disrespected the Rainbow Warriors, I can't do it. But I'll root for you, Logan. I know you're not staying up for that, so it's hopefully a little waking cash. No, there ain't no way you're staying up at 3 a.m. Sweating out that. But hey, it's gonna be cool. Those are the 4 games we're gonna talk about on the first week 0 edition of college football. Excited it's back. If you guys have any recommendations you want to see in the videos going forward, as always, leave them down below in the comments, and maybe there's some certain things we can look at. But going forward, we're probably just going to do a similar thing. We're just going to look at 10 games, 10, who knows, if there's a lot of games on the slate, we'll look at a bunch of them and give you our thoughts, and hopefully you guys can use it, make some money. And as always, let us know your picks down below, and maybe we end up tailing some of y'all. Look, how many college football teams are there, Logan? Like 900? Not really, but it's hard for us to know every single detail about the team. So if you have a team that you follow and you're like, hey, this is the week to back them, let us know down in the comments. It's Austin, Logan. We're signing out. We'll see you guys back again next week for more games. And if there's ever like a Tuesday or random Wednesday slate, we'll probably do videos for that as well as the Saturday slate. It's Austin, Logan. We're signing out. See you next week. Peace.